Hey guys, Krista here again with my weekly reads. One of the books that I read was Monument 14 by Emmy Laybourne. It's like a post-apocalyptic kind of a book. They've got kids of all ages from elementary school through high school. They all end up living in a superstore. There's 14 kids altogether. Have to survive, and they debate on whether they should leave and find other people or if they should stay there. And then of course also the rivals that happen between groups, of course, when you're stuck in a situation. I think this book had a lot of potential. The thing that kind of got me is that it's being sold as a teen book, a young adult book, but it kind of read more as a middle grade book to me, which is kind of weird. The main character that tells the story is like 17 years old, but because there's younger kids in this story, certain aspects of the story have to be described for the younger characters in the story. So I was a little bit torn because for me it felt like it read for a middle grade, even though the main character was older. I just didn't get that kind of gripping feel that I should be feeling for the older readers to enjoy as much. I felt that the having the kids involved and having the way that the story, um, certain aspects of what happens has to be told to the younger kids, kind of felt off to me as a reader of wanting more. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just wanted a little bit more to this story than what I got, even though I think it has great potential. Another book I read was Zor, The Shape of Darkness by Moshe Sipper. I liked it. It was definitely a middle grade science fiction book. It's about a boy who is 11 or 12 years old, and he is leaving for school one day and his house explodes. He is adopted, and when he runs back to the house so as he's running back towards his house, he gets one individual that is kind of chasing after him, and he keeps calling him Lord. And then another individual kind of grabs him to save him from the other guy that's chasing him. And a lot of things kind of happen right at the beginning, but eventually one of the guys takes him back to his own world. And he comes to find out that he's what is called a shaper. He can shift forms whenever he wants. And he is at that point in his life where it's starting to happen for him. He can even stop it. You know, if he thinks he's a dinosaur or a bed bug or a bed itself, he just all of a sudden starts to change, and then he has to try to force himself back into reality, and to that he's just a little boy, and he can't get found out as a dinosaur in his bedroom. When he is taken back home, the king of the planet is telling him, what exactly is going on. Their planet is being slowly destroyed by this blackness that's being blamed on the pirates. The pirates are causing this blackness, and they are no longer able to contact the people in the places around the world that have turned black. And they think that he is the answer to the problem that is happening because he has a shaper as both parents. So that makes him an extra powerful being. And so he gets to go through training and develop his shaper skills, and then he has to figure out how to stop the pirates and this blackness from overtaking the world before it finally gets swallowed up. I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. Another book I read was The Immortal by Kagawa. I enjoyed the story. It was great. She does a great take on vampire. My favorite part was her writing. There's constantly something going on, and there's different characters that come into the mix. You've got an Asian vampire main character who fights with a katana, so there is lots of action, fighting scenes, and I liked her writing style. It kind of makes you empathize more with the vampire and what they're going through. And her main character, Allison, actually goes through a lot because she despises vampires but yet has to become one. Survival and love and safety as well. So it brings in a lot of different aspects to it. And I really enjoyed it. Great story. I think she did a great job on vampires. I gave that 4 stars. Another book I read is Blood Oath by T.L. Clarke. This is the second book in her Gabby Girls adventure stories. You're following 4 different girls in the story, and you get it's a lot about friendship, but then there's also like this darker aspect to it of there's secret societies. There is half humans, warriors, all this stuff happening. This is one of the clean teen reads. There's no swearing or sex in it. It's just a really good adventure. Several different girls, they go through learning more about each other and their friendships, as well as trying to overcome this evil that is happening. So it was good. I ended up giving it 3 stars. It was a nice, enjoyable read. And I read Torn by Ashley Morgan. A book about a girl who wants to become an actress, and she is kind of an overly dramatic person, and she has a friend that kind of settles her down and, makes her see reality a little bit. They live in a very small town, and she's restless, and she does dangerous things to make her feel more alive. And one day a boy appears, comes into town. And later in the book, the paranormal aspect hits. So it reads more like a contemporary story in the beginning, but then we get a paranormal kick at the end. And it's an interesting twist of characters and events happening. I didn't love it, but I liked it. This is one book that I would probably read again, and I will read other stuff by this author. I think it was very interesting. The writing was great. The story was written more like it was 2 halves. Like the first half was more contemporary, but then you bring in the paranormal aspect. So it's kind of like 2 books combined into one, but it was still handled really great. It was interesting. I'm currently reading Partials by Dan Wells. I'm on chapter 16, which is about halfway in. And I am loving this book. I know it's already going to get 5 stars. I love the action and the dangerous aspect to it. All of the human babies, they're not surviving. They're dying as soon as they are born. So the youngest person is 14 years old. And she, the main character, is a medic, and they are studying to cure this thing that is happening to human beings. And she decides that the best thing to do is to go and obtain a partial who has taken over the cities. She thinks that that they have to go get a partial to test their blood and whatnot to find a cure on why they're not having their babies survive. But everybody tells her not to, because in doing so, she is going to begin another war with the partials. And it's so very true. There's so much action happening in this one. I really am enjoying it. And then what I'm going to start next is Elemental by Emily White. For 10 years, ever since she was a small child, Ella has been held prisoner. Now that she has escaped, she needs answers. Who is she? Why was she taken? And who is the boy with the beautiful green eyes who haunts her memories? So it sounds fun. Okay, that's it. Thanks, bye.